As some of you will have doubtless already seen on social media, certain people, thanks to an apparent mistake on Amazon's part, have already received the physical copies of their pre-order of Gran Turismo 7. Now that's warranted of an entire discussion in its own right, really, and I'm probably not the only one who's more than a bit salty about that, but that's by the by. What that does mean for this video, though, and for those of us in general, is that the achievements list has, of course, leaked for the game. So it goes without saying, before we get any further into the video, if you want to go into the game, in effect spoiler-free, if you want to think of it that way, then don't watch any more of the video. If, like me though, you're going to use this to prepare ahead of time and know which ones you're going to tackle first, if you are a completionist, for example, then of course you can stick around. Now we're going to work from bronze up to silver, then gold, then platinum. Platinum, of course, is always to complete everything in the game. And we're going to go in alphabetical order as far as the names of the achievements themselves. So let's get into the bronze first. Purchase a turbo or a supercharger 10 times. Buy and equip tuning parts to a vehicle. Win a race on 10 different circuits. Win a race with a lead of over 10 seconds in an event that has at least 2 laps in it. Win a race with a lead of less than half a second, complete 5 circuits in circuit experience, and that's all sectors of that circuit. That one should be pretty easy to do, just naturally through completion. Complete an event without leaving the track or having any crashes or collisions. Again, not too difficult, especially for the more seasoned driver. Then crossing the Atlantic is one where you drive with people online, matching the same kind of distance that the first ever transatlantic non-stop plane flight had, which is over 3,600 miles or 5,800 kilometers. Win 10 dirt races. Again, that should be a pretty easy one. Another easy one next, drive around Tsukuba in under a minute. That might be more difficult toward the start of the game, but of course once we get super fast vehicles, it'll be very easy. Then we have another distance-based one, driving for the equivalent of a Le Mans event, the 24-hour race over 2,200 kilometers or just under 1,400 miles. Then another distance one next, in fact a couple of them, the Angeles Crest Highway, which is driving 66 miles. Then Route 66, which is over 2,400 miles, not far off 4,000 kilometers. That will, of course, take a little bit longer, or about an hour on Special Stage Route X. I'm, of course, joking there. Next up, take a pit stop during an event which had fuel consumption turned on and fill your tank. Again, if that's a longer event, that's going to be an easy one to complete because you 9 times out of 10 will be filling up the tank. The next one, buy the same car 10 times over. That'll be very easy to do if you go for a cheap one. Drive a Formula car. That's an interesting little achievement. I don't recall if we've had that one before, but that's a curious one to me, indicating that they're giving Formula cars maybe a little bit more importance in this game. Then earn all of the licenses. Not surprising in a traditional Gran Turismo experience. Buy a pickup truck. That's an interesting little achievement, kind of a cool one, and definitely an easy one. Finish 50 races in sport mode. That will, of course, be for probably those who enjoyed Gran Turismo Sport a lot more than the brand new GT7 players. The next one is reach 200 miles an hour. Again, pretty easy. Buy an electric car. Probably something which a lot of players will never accomplish, unless you are forced to for the achievement. Buy a car at the Legends dealership. In other words, buy yourself a high roller. That one is definitely going to take some of us a little bit longer, depending on what kind of money earning even methods come out. As I said before, I will be doing videos in that regard. Next up, start the first menu. That's just called Living Your Car Life. So that seems to be a fairly simple one. Buy and equip aerodynamic parts to your car. Take a scapes photo of the Audi R18 on La Sarthe, aka Le Mans. Of course, that's an appropriate one. Take a photo of the BMW Group 3 race car at the Nürburgring. Again, another appropriate car track combination. I kind of wish that there were more of those, to be honest. Next one is have 50 cars in your garage. The next one after that is move 5 positions or more up during a single lap of an event. Next one is take a pit stop during the race and change your tyres. That one will be super easy. In fact, if you time it right, you could probably do that and the fuel tank at the same time. Complete a race without any assists. Again, you could easily do that one. Technically, you could probably do that right at the start of the game if you wanted to. Get 100 cars in your garage. Get a podium finish 10 times. Another super easy one. This is an interesting one. Get the rain license. I don't recall a rain license being a part of a previous Gran Turismo experience. I'm sure I'm wrong on that one, but I don't have any memory of that. Drive 500 miles, but in particular on oval circuits. Again, depending on if they categorize Route X as an oval, that'll be super easy to do. This is another one which I think they have had before. Run out of fuel during an event which had fuel consumption. That'll be pretty easy to do, and I'm sure plenty of people will probably get that achievement by mistake. Buy a safety car. I'm curious to see if the safety cars might be in some kind of mileage exchange again, as I think they've done before if I recall correctly. Get 10,000 points during a drift trial. Should be fairly easy. Take 100 photos in skates or during a race event. Again, for certain types of player in particular, that'll be super easy. Reach 311 miles an hour, or 500 kilometers an hour. As soon as you get a Tomahawk or a Red Bull, that shouldn't be too difficult, but the caveat there being, depends on which Red Bull it is. In sport mode, you have to finish a race. Super easy to do that one. Wash a car 10 times. Washing the car is dirt cheap, so again, you could easily get that one basically as soon as you start the game. Complete the first car collection menu. That's under one called Student of Motoring History. Complete a track in circuit experience. So that one actually links nicely into the other achievement earlier on. So you'll get one achievement for doing it on one circuit, then another one for, what was it, completing 5, I think, something like that. The next one is take part in 100 different time trials. Then increase the car's body rigidity 10 times. I must admit, the rigidity was never something I did that often in older Gran Turismo games, but I was much younger at the time. Then fit a wide body. That might be the most widespread achievement in the entire game, because I think everyone's going to want to do that. Then buy 10 different sets of wheels, which again, a ton of people are going to do. And that is it, first of all, for the bronzes. Now let's move up into the silvers. Now in the silver section, there are so many less achievements than what we just went through. Only 4, in fact. Complete 15 tracks in circuit experience. I must admit, depending on the progression within the game, I do plan to do circuit experience almost as soon as I start the game. I might do it not within the first hour because I want to do that first hour of gameplay style video and that would get a bit boring, but very soon after that I'm going to be doing as many circuit experiences as I can because I can promise you, based on the past of the franchise, that is going to be one of the easiest ways, depending on the entry requirements. I'm sure you have to have certain licenses to get loads of cash really easily. With the only caveat, I suspect, being that you'll only earn that cash once. Next up we have another online-based achievement. When driving with other players in online events, cover the same distance as the entire Autobahn network in Germany, which is over 8,000 miles or just under 13,200 kilometers. Then reach a speed of 373 miles an hour, which is 600 kilometers per hour. Again, depending on the Red Bulls that are in the game, that is pretty much guaranteed to be a Tomahawk exclusive thing, unless they bring back one of the older, much more powerful Red Bulls. Next up, acquire 3 legendary race cars that were once destined or intended to win the Le Mans 24-hour event. So, again, collection-based stuff, that's always what I'm into. As far as the gold, it's even smaller, because there's only one. And it's actually a fairly simple one, which is ironic because I think a number of us will probably get the gold pretty early on in the game, because all you have to do is get all gold in the licenses. Now, that of course depends on how difficult the licenses are, and Gran Turismo games have varied wildly in terms of how difficult certain licenses are compared to others, and I'm very curious to see how they've structured the licenses in this game, because I love it in the Gran Turismo 4 style, where the licenses really felt like they earned something. It felt like it really unlocked a massive new aspect of the game, obviously, but then it also gave you really cool rewards, like the Ford Model T back in the day, and various others that were much easier to get. Vehicles which you could only win once, but that could give you a really good head start in some cases. So I'm curious if they've included that kind of thing, and I hope that they do. I don't recall exactly what I said back in my Gran Turismo 7 strategy guide vid, which of course I've referenced a few times, but I'm pretty sure I would have said about licenses in that video. Stuff like missions, licenses, circuit experiences. These are the kind of things that you want to get into early to get the most cash and unlock the most aspects of the game. I haven't even played the game yet, but I already know that's going to be the case because that's just how Gran Turismo works, and they're clearly going for that more traditional fan favorite experience. So ultimately, that's it for the breakdown. Longer vid than usual for this kind of news, but it warranted it. And as I said, of course, the platinum is to get all of the trophies that I just mentioned. Interestingly, a lot easier to get many of these trophies than something like the sport mode trophies, for example, in the previous game, GT Sport. So clearly, even with the milestones in the game, it's geared more towards not necessarily the casual player, but it's more inclusive. They want more people to feel like they can actually get everything and work towards it and stay interested in the game, rather than giving them some super outlandish, ridiculously difficult thing that 90% of people who've never played Gran Turismo before are just going to be turned off by immediately. And ultimately, that's a smart move. So that's it for this particular vid. For those who stuck around for the whole thing, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Of course, as I've said before, stick around on the channel. I'm planning to release some car reviews in the Beards in Cars series in the coming days. And of course, once Gran Turismo 7 comes out, a ton of content for that as well. So if this is the first video of mine that you've watched, I did a breakdown recently of what you can expect on the channel in the coming months. And until next time, I'll see you then. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.